What's up, teammates? I've been watching college football all day today, and I think that if we get a chance at Sador Sanders or Cam Ward, we're gonna go get that. And I also think that every single college coach that I've watched has a more dynamic playbook than Luke Getsky. I couldn't believe how much Getsky's offense sucked compared to everything that I was watching in college. I just really don't play with attention to what the other teams are doing, and when we watch our games, I'm watching what our team is doing to cover, so I'm not paying attention to their route schemes or anything like that. I don't really care. But since I was trying to watch the quarterbacks and see what they were doing, I was paying more attention to what the offense was doing to watch, how the quarterbacks handled it. And man, they got a lot of dynamic offenses going on like there. Louisville had real cool, smooth moving offense. And so did, Miami. Louisville's was smooth though. But other teams, ex- extremely creative offensive schemes, and Luke Getsky has none. So before I was like, is Gardner Minshew not executing the schemes because the players are getting open, is just not getting there. And, part of that is true, or maybe all of that is true. But also, it's evident that the playbook is not very dynamic. So now we get to see if it's Getsky or if it's Minshew. So if it's Minshew, great. Aiden will work better with Aiden and Getsky. It works together good, and we'll work with that for the season. And if Getsky can't do it with Aiden or with Minshew, and his playbook doesn't get any more expensive, then yeah, he needs to go as soon as possible because it's pathetic how weak his playbook is and how unsurprising it is. I think that's the problem, that it's it's as easily read as Josh McDaniels' playbook. But that's all I got to say about Getsky. I hope that we find our quarterback, coming out of the in the next draft if Aiden doesn't work out, because Sadur Sanders and Cam Ward look good. And if we could get in a position to get those guys, one of those guys, we'd be in great position. But problem is, we have to be in really bad position to get one of those guys, right? And if Aiden O'Connell is as bad as many people think, then we will be in that position. I mean, many people compare Aiden O'Connell to Bryce Young, and Bryce Young had a bad team, and Bryce Young did poorly because his team around him was poorly built, and he went what it was only won 2 games last year because they just didn't have enough talent around him. And then they put a better quarterback in, the team jumps off. So we see what it is, how a quarterback and the talent around them can actually be a difference. So the idea of Aiden O'Connell not having very good offensive weapons around him is there because we lost our best wide receiver. The league doesn't have much trust in Jacoby Myers, and plus he's hurt. Trey Tucker's too young to be considered a serious threat throughout the league. We got DJ Turner. He hasn't really showed enough to anybody outside the league to be considered a top receiver or even a starter. We got, a top level tight end. We got that. But our running backs are suspect. Our line is hurt. Uh, our defense have top players who are out for the rest of the season. We're hampered as a team, and Aiden O'Connell is our quarterback. So we shouldn't expect too much, right? I mean, with all those things going against us, it seems like a season that like Bryce Young had last year is inevitable. Because with all those things going against us and Aiden O'Connell being worse than Bryce Young, we should be right there at the number 1 pick. That's what could happen. If those of you who hate Aiden O'Connell so much, believe that that can happen, believe that that's the situation, then that can happen and that will happen, and we will be in position to get Shedeur or Cam if we even just get a decent pick in the top 10 and can package enough stuff together to move up into the top, I don't know, whatever we need to be to get to the quarterback that we want. Or Tom Brady can figure it out with Aiden, finds a way to say, hey, this kid can work in my likeness. I can mold him to be what I once was. He does everything the same way I did it. He listens to me better than anybody can listen to anyone. So we'll see how that goes. Either one of those things could happen, but either one of those things is guaranteed to happen. So we're not going to miss one way or the other. So watching the rest of this season is really just judging the youth of our squad, really, because our team is, well, I guess I heard it was third youngest team in the NFL, and then we've dropped Devontae, so now the average goes even lower. So we're a young team, and what we're doing is watching basically our backups get in there. Malcolm Koontz's backup is in there. Who else is that? One of our Wilkerson, his backup is in there. Well, Diablo's back, but Epps' backup is in there. So that's 3 starters off our defense for the rest of the year. So that has to bring a level of our defense down. Our offense is missing so many players, and our, line is so suspect as many believe. So nobody should be expecting anything. We're supposed to just be, I guess, tanking then, right? That's what the perception of a lot of people are, and that's what a lot of people want. But I guarantee you, nobody in that building wants to tank. Nobody. Nobody in that locker room wants to tank. Everybody there wants to be on a successful football team. Everybody there wants to go out there and put their best performance on tape so they can have a successful career. Now, can the team make moves so it's harder on the team to progress? Yes. Those moves would include get rid of Max Crosby and other things. But there's really not much the Raiders could do to quote unquote tank the season. Now, I mean, we're already injured and broken as a team so far. So it's not like we're tanking the season on purpose. We're broken as a team because we don't have who we supposed to have as our players. The team that we were predicted to have at the beginning of the season starting is nowhere near the team that we have right now. So expectations from what we were supposed to do to what they are now aren't the same for the Raiders. And we shouldn't expect victory. But we all do, don't we? All the newscasters and all the people who dog and diss and are mad are still saying the Raiders should win this game. Why are they saying that? I don't know. Why do they say we're terrible? We got no offense, we got no defense, and special teams are suspect. But we should beat this team. So, whatever. I think we should win, though. Me too. I think we should win. But I think that because I think we have the talent to win. I think that everybody's going too hard on everybody on that football field and trying to make our team look like trash. The people who are saying the Raiders should tank the loudest are the Raider fans. So if y'all want to complain about stuff, then go ahead and complain about it, and complain about wanting to tank, and complain about wanting to get the best pick in the draft and all of that stuff. But realize when you ask to tank, you ask to lose. And if you're asking to lose, then accept it, live with it, and learn with it, and take it in. Because you're expecting to lose, you're calling our teams losers, so go ahead and lose. Lose, watch the game, take what you can from it, and absorb it and enjoy it. Wait for it to get better. Wait for the end of the season to come up and see what our draft position comes up to be. But don't go on air every day and point out every different way that they suck. and then say, but they should win this game or else they're underachieving. Well, which is it? Do they stink or do they underachieve or are they overachieving because they stink more than they should and they're performing to this level? I don't understand how it goes both ways. I don't. Personally, I don't think we stink. Secondly, I think that the youth of our team is what's important, whether we currently are a playoff team or not. We're still advancing as a team. And this season is important because we find out if Aiden's our quarterback or if we're going to, sell the farm to get the quarterback of the future. And if we do that, I could see, I can see why we would trade Max Crosby if we were trying to find the quarterback of the future. There, I said it. I don't want to get rid of Max Crosby. I don't want to trade Max Crosby. I don't want to trade Max Crosby mostly for Max Crosby. I mean, if Max Crosby turns out and says, I want to go, then I want to let him go. But he seems like he is real about wanting to stay here and wanting to win here, wanting to put the shield on his chest and go in the Hall of Fame as a Raider. He wants that. He really does. I believe when I, hear him talk, where you see it on his body, right? You see the tat. But he's afraid that, there's going to be this tankathon. He's afraid that maybe the team's not serious about going forward. And maybe that's where some of his little comments have come from recently. And if the team's not going to move forward, then yeah, we should get rid of him if that's what he wants. If he should stay as long as he wants to, and he can have the pass out whenever he wants to, because he's Max Crosby. And we need him, and we love him more than we need him. So we love him enough to let him go because we really need him. But if somebody else can use them and we can get something great for them, then that's what we have to do. But I really believe that Max Crosby is not going to ask for a trade. I don't think the Raiders would shop Max Crosby either. And I'm sure they get calls about Max Crosby consistently just because, he's Max Crosby. The teams don't think the Raiders know how to make good decisions, so they constantly try to bait him to see if they can mess one up and get Max Crosby away from us. And they might. Well, I don't think that, of course. I don't think they might. We got a whole new regime up there. Tom Telesco's up there. He's not going to let something stupid happen. He's already proven that he won't let something stupid happen by us getting something so big for Devontae Adams, which is a third and a conditional second, is a whole lot more than what we got for Derek Carr last year. So that's a stellar GM movie, if you ask me. With Tom Brady in the house, helping our quarterback, we'll find it, and that future is good. If Aiden and Tom Brady work together, then we have our quarterback, and that future is good. Either way, hopefully we keep Max Crosby so we won't need to put everything we have and more to try to get, Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward next year. So let's keep Max in the building. Let's just roll with it. We don't even have to hope for the best. We don't have to hope for one way or the other. We just have to wait and see what happens. We can hope that we lose the rest of the season so we can get all the way down to the first pick. We'll be pissed off and everybody will be mad and say we tanked on purpose and they'll be mad about all the losing. But then they'll be like, well, that's what we wanted so we can get the draft pick, so whatever. They're going to go back and forth on that. You can't win. But if Aiden turns out to be something that Brady says he can be, then there's nothing for us to complain about. We have to do what we're doing, and we can draft better players, and we can build as a team that way. So the best reason for us to hope for Aiden O'Connell to be successful is because that way we have a whole lot of draft capital that we can do a whole lot with in other areas, and we don't have to be tempted to get rid of Max Crosby or to let him do what he needs to do because we're going to have to get a rookie quarterback, and we don't know what we're going to do from there. And it's going to be like a rebuild because we're so young. Unless we use all the money we got to get, young, veterans, yeah, like, right at the peak or on the other side of the peak of their career, we can buy them up and try to do a win now that way if, we got enough talent coming out of Aiden. But outside of that, it's going to be a wait and see season for us because there's no guarantee that Aiden's going to be terrible. And there's no guarantee that we're going to be in position to get a number one draft pick if we're bad enough. But it'll be interesting watching see what happens, right? It'll be worth watching the games to know that we're getting towards that end. And, if you're no Aiden, let's go tank guy, with every loss should make you happy. And if you're a wait and see, then in no loss should bother you, and win should just make you as happy as a fan makes you. And if you're go Aiden guy and he makes it, then great. And if you're go Aiden guy and he doesn't make it, then great. We still get a high first round pick. So, and if we win, then great. If we lose, well, then we're going for the pick. Who cares? Let's just not complain about either way. If we win, good, we're winning. If we losing, then great, we're picking. So either way we go, we're golden. We just gonna have to lay a lot of goose eggs. Okay? But I'm not saying this season is a wash because, we can go on a winning streak, put 2 or 3 games together a couple of times here and there. It's the NFL and there's ways it can be done. It's just a matter of we can get Aiden to learn the tricks and be good enough to get it done. And if he can't, well then fine. We can go and take everything we got, put it into drafting Shedeur Sanders. Because, if Tom Brady's in the house, then of course we're going to go for Shedeur Sanders. He already works with him. So it's looking more and more like things could be molding into the position where we're putting our team together around the possibility of drafting Shedeur Sanders. Surfer Bob, I often mention you on this program, Surfer Bob, because you give such good insight. Not that others don't. Greg, Navigator, you know what I'm talking to. But with this Shedeur Sanders things that he's been beating in my face since the beginning, I've been like, yeah, okay, there's a hope. You can see. I guess I understand it. But now it's looking more and more to come around that things are shaping the way that it's going towards us having Shedeur Sanders as our quarterback. We'll see. It just depends on if Aiden sucks or not. That's all it is. If Aiden's as terrible as everybody else thinks, then we'll have Shedeur Sanders. If Aiden is as talented as I think, and his arm and his intelligence and can be used as well as Tom used his, then great. We're still in great shape. So this season probably going to be a rough one, or it's not going to be a rough one, and it's going to be a positive future one way or the other. No matter what happens, the future is still bright because the future either holds a good Aiden or a Shedeur Sanders and a healthy team next year. Because we have too many players that are out for the remainder of the season for us to consider it a full comeback as a team. We're not going to be able to, be the team that we were in the beginning of the season, or that we predicted to be when season started. That doesn't mean that we're going to be a trash team. It does mean that we're going to get a lot of young players, a lot of reps, and we're going to have to see what they're made of to pull out victories. And if we don't pull out victories, then let's see what we can put together to pull out some Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. Either one of those two. If we can get position to get one of those two guys, we're in great shape. So, tank or not, swim or sink, whichever it is, it doesn't really matter. The silver lining is when the season's over, there's going to be a brand new shining hope for next season. It's going to take time for us to figure out what the hope is going to be and how it's going to come. But we know next year our defense is going to be successful. Our offense is going to have more time together. If we get a new offensive coordinator, then we'll have that new stuff coming to us. And if Aiden's gone, then we have a new quarterback coming to us. So if we're not successful, all the new things are coming to us. If we are successful, what we've been using is still here, and then we got other new things coming to us. So, considering that we're so young and we have so many talented players at this point that can grow, we're looking good as a franchise, especially now that Tom Brady is going to be there to help with the major decisions. Especially since his dollar's involved in it now, he's definitely going to want to make sure the decisions go right. See? So we're in good shape. And I'm happy for it. In this point, in this moment, the silver lining is the future is bright. This season is maybe not savable, and maybe doesn't need to be saved. Right? So we don't save it, we win. We save it, we win. So power through it. Let's wait for it. Let's watch for it. Let's enjoy what we do like and try to ignore what we don't. Because what we don't like is not going to be there next year. All right? So, we might not win this one, but we can't win them all. And the clouds get dark. When you're looking for the bright side, come to the silver lining. Guru out.